Okay, I'm back. I'm sorry the interruption. I'm sorry it had to be part two. I ask people don't video chat me because I may be working doing videos or whatever. And it's a long story. So anyway, that's Gerard, editor-in-chief of Filipino Soul Magazine, part two. You know the drill. Okay. So I was talking about being called a racist here in the Philippines. We are a group of foreigners. They call it expat, I guess you might say, that we always got together at one of the bars, or it's Friday, Saturday, or we might gather somewhere to play pool, and you know, we would talk. We would talk about some of the issues of the day. But it got to the point whereas it's so funny, you know. In my home, there's only certain times of the day when I can actually have internet connection. I don't know why it's been like that. It's been like that. But Murphy's Law, what can go wrong will. Now I'm doing a video, and now my internet is fine, and all these pop-ups, all these interruptions, all this stuff like this is going on. You know, I guess it's the powers that be that make things happen the way they happen. So anyway, so we used to be able to talk about things, you know, and we used to talk about race, you know. There was one guy who was a retired police officer, you know, and you know, you have to accept people for who they are. And if you can't accept people for who they are, then you shouldn't be around them. Point blank period. You shouldn't be around them. Now, I can accept people of who they are no matter what the things they say or how they think and how they feel. For instance, this one retired New York City police officer who just loves the word nigger. You know what I'm saying? And so he joke about, you know, we talk about, you know, he was, you know, he would call me out, or he was like, oh, you nigger, like this and like this. And he's an old dude, man. Old dude got old dude ways. You know, and I understand that probably some, you know, there was some brothers who came one time, and this other white dude, he had the thing, I'm proud to be white on his shirt. And I went over and talked to the brothers. I said, you want to come and join? He says, no, not with him with that t-shirt on. He said, I'm not coming over there. And so I said, okay. And then I had to drop a little bit more on my pedigree for them to know who I was, you know, and saying like this. And so I said, okay, you're cool. Then we connected. So you have to accept people for who they are. Now, it may have bothered some people that he was calling me that, but me, I just laughed it off because, you know what, it's just a word, you know, saying like that. It was, you know, but anyway, it got to the point now because of stuff that's going on in the country, and this is before George Floyd, because, you know, that we can't talk anymore. Trump supporters are, and I can say this because this is how I feel, Trump supporters are so goose-stepping behind Trump that any other thought, any other scenario, or anything happening in the world, you know, they can't see it. They won't see it. They can't empathize. They just can't. Like Trump, they just can't see it. And the question is, do you think he's dividing the country or he's pulling us together? It's a simple question. It's a simple question. Someone posted something about Joe Biden in the papers back in the 60s or something like that, or early 70s, maybe in the 80s, the way he talking about blacks in the jungle or something like this. He don't want his daughter to be about the jungle. So what? During that time, I can't make generalizations. A majority of white people had negative opinions and viewpoints about blacks. So you're going to pull this article up and say, look, this is what he thought about. You know, when I asked him, I said, what did you think about? If you're over 60, you had the same views as the majority of whites toward blacks. So what do I got to do? I got to go in your past, because yours is an imprint. I got to go in your past, find your schoolmates, secretly record them and say, hey, look, what did he used to say about blacks? And find out what you used to say, and then see if you deny it or acknowledge it. It doesn't make any sense. We all said bad things. I, for one, don't see race. You know my background. I've told you enough times about my family dynamic. I'm not going to go into it again, not here, because I got something else I want to say. But to be called a racist was like, what? What? How can you call me a racist? And a lot of people think, I'm just this, you just caught up in whatever. Let me tell you some of my categories. And the police officer, just to mention the name Reverend Al Sharpton, sends him through the roof. You know what I'm saying? He just goes through the roof. But, he checked. Let me tell you something about Reverend. Reverend Al Sharpton is not an ambulance chaser, we'll say. Because he sees something going on, he doesn't rush to it. He gets invited to attend a lot of things or take part in, and there's some things that are just so egregious that he just has to speak on. A lot of you don't know that what he does with the families who have nothing after losing a loved one in the family, he gives them jobs in the organization. He gives them a payday. He makes it possible for them to eat. He makes it possible to do what they, what they need to do while they're going through the traumatic experience of having some type of catastrophe happen to them, whether it be police violence, corporate, or whatever. He helps them. Now I was there. Now when I say I was there as a photographer, because I was one of his personal photographers. I could walk in the Reverend's office or in his organization, go right into the inner room and just take pictures. He would call me for his office downtown and have meetings when he was having meetings with the Obama administration. I was in his office the first time him and Jesse Jackson actually sat down and buried a hatchet, and I'm taking pictures. I wish I had a recorder, because the words that they were using, no preacher should use. Both of the preachers, but they were brothers. You see, the black. You see, I was there when Amadou Diallo got shot 41 times in a vestibule, reaching for his wallet to show some hit squad police officer roaming the streets, attacking young blacks, who were walking around the streets by themselves. 41 times. 41 times he was shot. I was there in that consciousness. I was there in the consciousness when Sean Bell, who was engaged to be married the next day, was shot and killed after his bachelor party in Queens. I was there. I was there when Reverend Al Sharpton was protesting about the bombing in Villegas in Puerto Rico. I think in Puerto Rico. What they were doing, the bombing in there. And then they locked him up, what I'm saying, for some, I don't know, for some visa or something like this. And he went on a hunger strike. And at that time, I was a member of the NAACP and a youth advisor. And I took a group of youths, along with the president, Von Quirk, and we went and we protested in front of the federal building in Lower Manhattan to release Al Sharpton. I was there when Michael Jackson, and I was the only photographer allowed in the inner office of Reverend Al Sharpton when Michael Jackson was there. When Michael Jackson was complaining about Sony not putting the muscle that it had behind his latest project. Why? Because they were trying to bamboozle him to win control over the Beatles collection, because they didn't want his project to be a success. And Michael, a veteran, knew when a label was doing the right thing. So he went to Al and said, help me. And that's when Reverend Al Sharpton did the Music Summit. And he showed attention to a lot of the times in the industry how they cheated blacks, for out of money for their music. It was funny. I was in the inner office. I'll tell you this story. Dougie Fresh was there, and there was this guy sitting on the couch. He was sitting on the couch like this, and I said, "Excuse me, are you somebody?" He says, "No, I'm not nobody." I said, "Okay, but I'm gonna take your picture anyway." He said, "Okay." So I took his picture. When the program started on the Bodega, you know who that person was? Russell Simmons. I didn't know who Russell Simmons was, at least of all when I saw him. But that's the story of my life, because I never knew who anybody was. I just took pictures. But I was there. So I've been involved. I was also involved in Long Island when they were, restocking the ponds and all this stuff for the community. I just have been involved in so much stuff. But then to be called a racist, it really stuck with me, because it says, because I don't believe in your political views, or anyone who doesn't believe in your political views is a racist, and keeps calling me a Democrat. I said, I'm a libertarian. Why can't you get it through your head? Oh, you're a Democrat. I said, you constantly calling me a Democrat is actually racist, because I keep telling you I'm not. So for those who think that I'm just a Johnny-come-lately when I speak about, or when I look, let's face it. Let's face it. What is so hard about illegalizing a chokehold that kills black people, black men? Illegally. Make it illegal to use it. What is so hard, to say, okay, we're going to do away with the no-knock warrant? What is so hard with that? When it's proven that you go into the wrong house and you shoot a woman in bed. Wrong house. Oh, sorry. Jessica here. Oh, well. What is so hard of releasing police officers on-the-job performance records? To see if they are, if they should be a policeman. What is so hard with that? I don't know. To me, it looks like some things, it's just a matter of doing the right thing. And I can't understand why it's so hard to see what the right thing is. It's, I guess that's the gist I want to say. The things that are happening, or they're showing a light to, have been happening in the United States for years. So now you have a movement called Black Lives Matter. That the president and vice president refused to say those words. Can you imagine? Can you imagine? Him? No, I'm never going to say Black Lives Matter. No. What are you talking about? Right now, it's one of the biggest, political, grassroots organization in the country, and you can't say Black Lives Matter because I don't know. I know when Trump, if a lot of you follow me, I know when Trump became in office, I rooted for him. I wanted him to do good. I wanted him to rise to the plateau of presidency. Because why? Because he was the commander-in-chief. I'm a military man. I believe in this country. I believe in the presidency. But I also have my own personal guidelines, or my own personal, standards on what a president should be. Yes, Trump has done some good things. Yeah. Whether it be on trade, or whether it be, you know, on employment, or whether it be in a black organization, however you look at it, it's all out for debate. But he has done some good things. But the bad outweighs the good. I'm sorry. But anyway, I had my moment of that. You know, I'm in the Philippines. It's good. It's nice. Like, you know, life is, you know, what can I say? I'm on the verge of living like a king. So remember, dreams are nothing more than plans. You know, it used to have to say, if you're not part of the solution, you're part of the problem. And I ask everybody to step back and put yourself in the other person's shoes. I know when I was in school, I used to debate, and I used to love to debate for things I didn't believe in, because it was what I was given to debate. You know, but being able to debate it, or be able to see the other person's, you know, burden and knowledge is a gift, I think. The United States has done a lot of wrong for a long time. And it's unfortunate that there are a lot of agitators within that, which is something new. It's not something new. Something been going on. Martin Luther King way back, you know, FBI used to, Malcolm X used to put plants in their rallies and in their, you know, to be agitators. We have agitators today. But don't mix it up in the soup. Don't lose sight when things need to change. And they're changing. Again, this is Gerard, chief of Filipino Soul Magazine, aka S.G.I.B magazine. This episode is got intention to be that, never should be so to be something, a dream, a goal, an idea, a train, or something. You know, my magazine is, I tell you this one last story. When I first started my magazine, I paid a girl $2,500 to design my magazine. She designed the magazine. So, okay, fine. The following month, she was going to charge me $2,500 again, because we had a contract. I said, wait a minute, why am I paying you $2,500 when you designed the shell of the magazine? All we doing now is copy and pasting, dropping contents in a shell that's already been created. She held me to it. I paid her, but I was extremely disappointed. I was taken advantage of because I did not know. But see, once I learned the procedure, which is a very important word, because whenever you go on a job and someone asks you, do you know how to operate this machine? Do you know how to do this type of filing? If you know how to do this type of bookkeeping, you never say no. You say, I'm sure I can once I learn the procedure. Because everything has a procedure behind it. So remember that when next time you go on your next job. You know, so I learned the procedure. So I have my show. I have my contents. You know, I know the people who I want my magazine that I can just say, okay, let's go, let's roll, you know, and drop it in. Do the interviews and drop it in. As long as I can't travel to the U.S., my magazine is not an internet magazine. I'm never going to make an internet magazine. I like the hard copy magazine. So until travel is safe to go back and forth to U.S., I'm in no hurry. And once it is safe, I got to be sure that it's safe enough for me to come back. But the way the coronavirus is, there's no telling how long that'll be. So if you're lucky enough to have a dream, a goal, an idea, a train of thought, remember, do what I used to do. Get as much you can, as fast you can, and go. And if you're lucky enough to have a woman like Ollie Woodson, former lead singer of the Temptations, what song? Treat her like a lady. Because I tell you, Women are God's gift to men. And I love you all. Okay? I'll always love you more. I'll talk to you later. This has been a brief interlude of Double OG. I'll talk to you later. Peace.